Hey everybody, Scott here with Trek Bike Store and ABC Bicycles, and today we are going to answer a very common question. All the time we get asked if we can do a video on basic maintenance tips. So today we're going to talk about some basic maintenance of your bike, mainly how it relates to riding in the rain, because this morning, well, when you're watching this, it's not this morning, but anyways, the morning we filmed this video, it rained, the bike got wet. So let's do 3 simple steps on how to take care of your bike after a rain ride. So first thing we're always going to do is we're going to wipe the bike down. It's always good to start with a nice clean base before we do other work. We have a new assistant here. Its name is Thing. Thing, can I get some a rag? Awesome. We're going to start with a nice clean rag and maybe a little bit of, let's say, degreaser. Thank you so much, Thing. So right now we're using just a mild simple green solution. I like to use a little bit of a degreaser here, and we're just going to wipe down the bike. So lots of people I know will hose their bikes down. As you can see, it's mildly dirty. It's not too heavily soiled. Yet again, if it's super dirty, we might think about washing it down with the hose, but for right now, it's not too bad. So we're just going to go ahead and wipe it down with a little cloth. The big things to consider are the pivot points of your bike, like the headset. If you have one of these new Treks with the pivot points in the frame, to kind of wipe that down. The big thing to consider though is that we don't want to jam the grease and jam all the grime and the sand into those pivot points. We want to work to actually loosen them out. So we're not going to be really harsh around those areas. We're going to try our hardest to lift and clean around them, so we're not pushing grime into the bearings. We're actually cleaning it out. It's kind of a good step. After that, we're going to take a look at the second biggest item on the bike, and that's going to be the chain. The chain is what most people kind of have the most issues with, especially after a rainstorm. So there's a few different lube options we can do. The first lube option is actually a wet lube. So it's right here. Thank you so much. So wet lube is kind of the silliest term in the world, because of course all lubes are wet. But this is specifically formulated actually for wet riding. It's a little bit thicker. This is from Finish Line. It's actually a synthetic blend. And this is a little bit of a thicker formula, so it stays on the chain longer. So if you're riding a lot in wet weather, this is a great lube to use. I don't ride in the rain a ton, so I'm actually going to substitute this for a different lube. We also have a cleaning lube. It's called a one-step. So just as the name implies, this is a one-step lube. This is for folks that want something really simple, really easy to clean their lube as they're lubricating it. It has a really high viscosity. It's going to help push a lot of the dirt and debris out of your chain, debride the chain, and then of course lubricate it at the same time. You put a little dab on each link, wipe off the excess after it sits on there for a good long time. The lube we're going to use today though is a dry lube. Thank you. And can I get a lightly soiled rag? Oh, I think I've upset. Oh, its name is Thing, not it. Anyways, so we're going to use a dry lube. This is for mostly, well, dry conditions, right? Cool thing about these Finish Line products is it has a little nipple on it, so it helps gravity feed the lube out of the bottle. And if you want to come over here, Ann, you probably, I'm guessing, don't have a $2,000 Park Tool professional stand at home, but you probably have a wall. So we're just going to lean this lube, just kind of slightly drip it nice and lightly onto the chain. You'll notice you don't need to put a lot of pressure on it to get the lube to come out. It kind of naturally vacuum feeds out of the bottle. And we just want to get a nice liberal coating on the chain. Probably a few good turns around. Typically, we'll have you let this lube sit on here for at least 45 minutes. Preferably overnight would be great. That way the lube goes into the inside of the chain. You don't really want it wet on the outside. You want it really wet on the inside of the chain. Real quick pro tip when it comes to lubing the chain. It's called the tack test. If you put your fingers on the chain and it's really dry, it means your chain needs lube. If you put your fingers on it and it's really wet like it is now, because obviously we just put lube on it, means that you need to wipe off some of the excess. And get your rag out of there. ideally what we want your chain to be is just slightly tacky. Just have a little bit of tack to it. That's kind of the perfect amount of lube. So we wipe the bike down, we clean the chain. Next system on the bike is the brakes. We have to clean the brakes. So on this bike, this has disc brakes, but it will be pretty much the same formula for cleaning rim brakes as well. So we'll just take a really clean rag. So we want a rag that we've never used any oils, any lubricants on before. We want it to be 100% clean. And then we're also going to use a little bit of alcohol. Thank you so much. I love it. Sorry, we try to have fun here. So you're going to take this alcohol, you're going to mix it with a little bit of lemon juice. Oh, different alcohol. You're going to take this alcohol, you're going to spray it a little bit on your rag. The alcohol is going to help break down some of the oils. And we're just going to go ahead and we're going to lightly grasp the rotor. And we're going to try to clean both sides of the rotor at the same time. So if you notice, I'm kind of turning this into a little, I guess, taco there, and I'm kind of just wrapping it around the rotor. And we're just going to go ahead and just wipe that down with a nice little bit of alcohol. Cool thing about alcohol too is that it's going to air dry for you. And that's just one revolution I got off there. A lot of brake dust. So this is going to keep your brakes from squealing, and it's going to do a lot for the longevity of your bike. So there is 3 really simple steps. Yet again, we could have done this for about 2 hours and showed you every single pivot point, every little piece to lube on your bike, but we just wanted to do kind of a quicker video just to show you the basics of this. If you have any questions, please drop us a line, or if you want to come on in, ton of helpful people at either one of our locations, ABC or St. Pete. Oh, do you want a bonus step? All right, this is a pro tip. Thank you thing. So you usually don't see this on any bike shop bench. This is what we use to polish your frame. This is a pledge. We actually have a mechanic here that vows that lemon pledge is better than orange pledge. I think he just likes the smell of lemons. I really think he's full of it. But anyways, we're gonna spray that lightly on a rag, and we're gonna wipe that down. Not only is your bike gonna smell like lemons, or oranges, I guess, but it's gonna give a really, really nice shine to the bike. It's furniture polish, it's not really gonna hurt anything. The only caveat to using pledge is that on bikes with a matte finish, remember, you don't wanna polish a matte finish because, well, then it won't be matte anymore. You're just gonna wanna stick to a degreaser. When matte finishes start to look a little shiny, it's because it probably has some sort of oil on it. So light degreaser, really, really heavily diluted degreaser solution is going to help lift that up without damaging the finish on your bike. If you have any questions about your particular bike, your particular finish, please either contact our store or reach out to the manufacturer just to make sure that each bike is getting its proper care. But there you go, 3 simple steps. If you have any questions, let us know. Come into the store. We'd love to talk with you. Have a great day.